Any number could come off. He wants to win this heat race. He wants those green leader lights, and he gets them.
Cooper Webb, he hates to lose. He said, I got my butt kicked in playoffs this year, but I needed that. I needed to know where I stand and where this motorcycle stands, and they have been putting in the work all preseason long.
Haley, this is one of those guys that when he gets beat, he just gets madder and faster and better and more focused, doesn't he?
He does. He's a brilliant cruiser. He is the disruptor. He just stalks these guys down. But one area he has needed to improve this season is his starts, the start of the race. Make it so you don't have to come from the mid or back of the pack even. And look what he is pulling off right now, leading this field.
We have seen Jet Lawrence knows how to manage races. We saw him do it in the outdoor when he had a perfect season, 22-0. We saw him do it with his 250 titles right now. He's trying to see what a veteran like Cooper Webb is going to do. Then he's going to react to those moves.
And we're seeing a bit of the old guard versus the new. And with that, with all due respect, Cooper Webb. But before we get to that, this battle, we have the number 21, Jason Anderson. He has stalked down Jet Lawrence.
So the question is, as we watch heat number 1, will we get a clue of how the 18 is going to ride? Will he push it here in this heat race or save that intensity for the main event? There's a little bit of a gap opening up against him and Cooper Webb. Cooper Webb on point right here, looking great. Let's see what that gap is as they cross the finish line. Almost a 2-second gap for Cooper Webb over Jet Lawrence.
We knew two things coming into this open.
A little bit slower for the whip section. That time out of front nosy. A little stopping there by the 18. He's able to control it. I talked about that with Jason Wygant earlier on our show, Race Day Live, Haley and Lurch. Just when something goes wrong, the 18 is really good about controlling a bike that's getting a little swirly. He just showed it to us now.
And in peak fitness, if things go awry, he is so often able to save it. Save it from a tip over, save it from a crash, in peak athletic form. And we're also seeing peak performance right now from your race leader who's on the big screen, Cooper Webb. And I can't say enough about him. And joining Monster Energy Yamaha Start Racing at the start of SFX playoffs. That's so rare. We see a mid-season change of manufacturer. Going back to that familiar ground on that blue Yamaha, but did perform how we wanted to. 8-7-3 into the playoff round, and that lit a fire under him.
Yeah, we're so used to seeing him in the Red Bull KTM colors, and I remember when he won his championships on a Yamaha, so to see him back on the Blue Crew, it's a good look. I think it's working for him, and I think that's part of what he needs to prove as well.
And while he earned both of his championships with Red Bull KTM, and those 5 years he spent with that team, imagine the growth he has experienced, and he gets to bring that back to Yamaha, in which he had a lot of success with that before going to Red Bull KTM. And we see on your big screen the margin right now between he and Jet Lawrence. Dan, do you have a read on exactly how big that interval is?
Really impressed by the ride of the number 32 Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing of Justin Cooper. We saw him cut his teeth last year. I think his best finish in his couple debuts that he had in the 450 class was 6th place. But right now, sitting in that top 9, a good position to be in your first semi-rookie season in the 450 class.
Yeah, Jorge Prado in there on the big screen right there, coming all the way from Spain. 2 MX2 GP titles. He's got an MXGP title as well. Unreal riding. This is his dream to be here. So if he can put it in to the main event by avoiding the LCQ, that is going to be a big accomplishment for the 111 all the way from Spain. Jorge Prado making it happen now. He's got a gap on Shane McElrath, looking great in the whoops. Not necessarily his forte. He mentioned that was going to be tricky for him. But exiting the whoops there, went to jump a couple. And he's not the only one having trouble in that whoop section, by the way. So Jorge Prado can hold his head high right now. If he can hold on to this spot and avoid dropping 2 more, he'll go straight into the main event for his first ever Supercross main.
You know, one of the great things about him, I talked to the team, and they said towards the end of the day at the practice track, when the track got rough and those lines really started to develop, that's when he had the best at times out of the team. And I think as this track breaks down, if he can get into that main event, we're going to see some great showing by the 111.
And one of the questions Jorge was asked at the press conference yesterday is, how do you feel about those Supercross whoops? These are unique to racing in Supercross. You don't even see them here in the States with pro motocross and not overseas. So that is something new he's facing, one of the many challenges. And one of those heavy hitter challengers, Cooper Webb, has just maintained dominance of And Jet Lawrence still behind him, looks to have closed the gap just maybe a little bit on that last lap, but Cooper Webb, yeah, man, he's going to have to be perfect here, Jet Lawrence.
Yeah, Jet's sticking to him. I don't see Jet dropping back much, and that's the tail of the tape as well. Again, about 2 seconds behind Cooper Webb is Jet Lawrence. So number 9 of Adam Cianciarulo. Up on the screen there briefly, and we'll see what he's doing.
All right,
Jet Lawrence has closed that gap to 1 second, folks.
Yeah, he did. He looked like he made up some time on that section. Once they get to the third base line, everybody take a look. I don't know if he's doing something different than Cooper Webb, but he's making up time on that third base line. Now through the ropes, the hard drive. Jet Lawrence are going to try to give it to him. It's 2 laps to go. Clock is out. Look at the track. Now watch this section. Can he get it done? Cooper knows it's there.
It's a time block. The 18 goes off. It's a time block. He's only going to lose 1 position if he can get back on. He loses to Jason Anderson. You just never know. He's okay. He's safe. And that was a great, quick recovery by the Super Motocross World Champion.
Doing that time, yeah. Cross right front end. Didn't want to stay in that line. I got facing that jump through the front end of the bike to the left. He gets in that bump and top block, but boy, a nice recovery. Kept the bike running. All the things that could go right did. Only one thing went wrong.
Yeah, Haley, if you have to crash, it's a terrible thing, but that's the way to do it right there.
That's the way you want to do it. And these guys, they do know to an extent how to crash. Of course, a lot of that's under control, but yeah, that is a good place to crash if you have to. But wow, Cooper Webb, he is so tough to pass, rides a very wide motorcycle, so to speak, and he's going to get that right line choice and force the guy behind him to take the line that is undesirable. Maybe that was part of it, but honestly, it's a mistake. These things happen. And Cooper Webb going to give him a little bit of a ground advantage as he looks to close in on his first heat win of the season.
This is the last lap. The white flag is out. The number 2 on that Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing bike. He has 16 career heat wins. His last one was round 13 in Atlanta 2023. He finished 3rd in his 2023 Anaheim 1 heat race. So this is a big deal on the new bike for the new factory ride for his team. The number 2 getting through the sand right here on this lap. What a way for him to start off the year with a big heat win race and a gift to the